Why did you click on this video? Maybe her replies slowed. Maybe dates vanished. Maybe she stopped initiating plans. You want her to miss you. You want her to choose you again. I once coached a man who texted non-stop after a great first month. He chased, she pulled away. He blamed timing and sent longer messages. Nothing changed. Then he made 3 specific shifts. He limited his availability. He used quiet instead of follow-ups. He rebuilt his daily goals. Within days, she reached out first. She asked to meet. She missed him. Those 3 shifts work because they tap 2 human instincts: scarcity and reactance. They make your presence feel rarer. They make your choices feel valuable. This is not manipulation. This is simple psychology applied with respect. Watch this video to learn each of the 3 moves, the exact mistakes to avoid, and the practical actions you can take immediately. Subscribe for short, direct dating tactics. Like the video if you want fast change. Watch to the end so you can act and see results. Point number 1. Create scarcity. Stop being always available. Picture this. You've been seeing someone you really like. At first, everything feels alive. She's texting you first, planning dates, asking when she'll see you again. But then slowly something changes. She's taking longer to reply. Plans seem harder to lock down. You start wondering, did I do something wrong? Have you ever felt that sinking feeling in your stomach? The one where you know someone you care about is slipping away? Think back to a time when you were excited about someone, but then they started to feel a little too available. Did it change how you saw them? Did it make the mystery fade? Most of us don't realize it, but constant availability can dull attraction. When every message is answered instantly and every free moment is offered, the excitement fades. Why? Because there's no space for desire to grow. Imagine if instead of always being there, you allowed a little room for anticipation. What would happen if she had time to miss you? Can you remember the last time you longed for someone because they weren't always around? How powerful was that feeling? Scarcity creates curiosity. It sparks questions in her mind. It makes her think about you when you're not there. One man I coached kept texting his girlfriend every hour. He believed that staying in touch would keep her close. But the opposite happened. She began to withdraw even though he hadn't done anything wrong. When he finally started focusing on his own life again, hitting the gym, meeting friends, working on his goals, something changed. She began reaching out first. She started asking, "When can I see you?" She missed him because he wasn't instantly available anymore. What parts of your life have you put on hold while focusing on someone else? What passions, hobbies, or friendships have you ignored? How would it feel to reclaim that time and energy? By creating scarcity, you show that your time is valuable. You communicate that your world is full, not empty. You also give her the gift of space, the chance to reflect, to want, to miss. This is not about manipulation. It's about balance. People naturally desire what feels valuable and rare. When you become more centered in your own life, you stop overextending and start creating an energy that draws someone in. So ask yourself, if you stepped back just a little, not as punishment, but to rebuild your own life, what impact would that have? How would she feel if she sensed you were busy, fulfilled, and moving forward? Can you see how that would make her look at you differently? Scarcity isn't absence, it's presence with boundaries. It's you saying, "My time matters." It's you giving her room to feel longing again. And when you do this, something powerful happens. You stop chasing and she starts noticing. She begins to wonder about you, think about you, and miss you. That's when attraction comes alive again. Point number 2. Use strategic silence to trigger reactance. Picture this. You're in the middle of a text thread with her. It's been constant back and forth for days. You're always the one replying first. You're always the one keeping the conversation alive. Then one day you stop. Not out of anger, not out of games, just silence. How do you think she would feel? Think back to a time when someone you liked suddenly stopped messaging you for a day or 2. Did you feel a tug inside, wondering why? Did you start checking your phone more? That's reactance at work. It's a psychological response where people want more of what feels out of reach. When you fill every gap with words, she never feels that tug. When you give silence, she notices the space. I coached a guy who texted his girlfriend good morning, good afternoon, and good night every single day. He thought it showed care. Instead, she stopped responding with energy. When he pulled back, sent one thoughtful message instead of 5, something changed. She began texting first. She began initiating plans. The silence made her wonder what he was doing, and she missed him. Where in your life have you been afraid of silence? Do you fill every pause with reassurance texts or calls? How would it feel to let a moment breathe instead? When you allow a little space, you create mystery. You give her time to reflect. You trigger curiosity. You spark that inner question. Why isn't he texting? Strategic silence isn't ghosting. It's not punishment. It's a conscious pause that gives both of you room to breathe. It shows confidence. It communicates, I'm centered. I'm not desperate for your response. This subtle shift can change how she feels about you almost overnight. Think of silence as a canvas. It's the space where longing grows. It's where she replays your last conversation in her head. It's where she starts to reach for her phone, wondering what you're up to. Have you ever noticed how a song is more powerful when it has a quiet pause before the chorus? The same dynamic applies in relationships. Without silence, there's no anticipation. Without anticipation, there's no spark. Ask yourself, are you willing to step back for a moment to let her come forward? Are you ready to replace constant updates with confidence and calm? How would it feel to stop chasing and start inspiring her to reach out? When you use strategic silence, you're not taking something away. You're adding space for desire to build. You're creating an opportunity for her to choose you again, to feel that pull toward you. And when she does, it's stronger and more real than anything you could force with words. Point number 3, level up your life, become worth missing. Picture this. You've been waiting for her text, scrolling through your phone, hoping for a notification. Hours pass. You start thinking of sending another message, maybe even 2, but deep down you know that won't change how she feels. What would happen instead if you shifted your focus from waiting to building? What if you became so fulfilled, so centered, that she couldn't help but notice your glow? Think back to a time when someone you liked seemed completely in their element. Maybe they were training, learning, creating, or traveling. Did their energy pull you in without them even trying? How did that make you feel? That's the power of leveling up your life. When you pour energy into your growth, you become magnetic. I once worked with a man who had made his entire world about one woman. He stopped working out. He stopped seeing his friends. He lived on his phone. She began losing interest because the man she met at first was alive, ambitious, and interesting. The man she had later was only waiting. When he finally started improving himself, going back to the gym, working on his side project, dressing better, spending time with inspiring people, everything changed. She reached out. She began asking about his life. She began missing him. Where have you stopped growing? Which passions have you buried because you're focused on someone else? What hobbies, dreams, or goals once gave you energy? Imagine how it would feel to reclaim them, to invest in yourself again. This isn't about pretending. It's about genuinely creating a life that excites you. When you upgrade your habits, your health, your style, and your mindset, you automatically become worth missing. People sense your self-respect. They notice your drive. They want to be near your energy. Leveling up your life also changes how you see her. You stop waiting for validation. You start choosing where your time goes. You start living with purpose, which makes every interaction with you richer. Ask yourself, if you woke up tomorrow and focused on one powerful change, health, skill, career, or creativity, how would that ripple through your relationships? Becoming worth missing is not about playing games. It's about becoming so present, capable, and inspired that your presence feels like a privilege, not a given. It's about building a life where your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's texts. When you level up, you're not just harder to reach, you're harder to replace. She feels the difference. She sees you as the man she first admired, maybe even more. And in that space, something shifts. She doesn't just remember you. She wants to be part of your life again. That's the power of focusing inward. You grow, she notices, and the connection becomes stronger because it's real, not forced. We've come full circle. We started by looking at what makes someone miss you, and together we explored 3 powerful shifts. You saw how creating scarcity gives space for desire to grow. You learned how strategic silence can stir curiosity and spark reactance. You discovered how leveling up your own life makes you magnetic and worth missing. Take a moment to think about which of these steps resonates with you the most. Where could you start today? Even small changes in how you show up can transform the energy between you and someone you care about. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot that you chose to spend your time here. This channel exists to help you grow, heal, and create relationships that feel real and fulfilling. If you felt connected to this message, consider subscribing and liking the video. It's the simplest way to join a community of people who want to grow just like you. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. Have you tried any of these steps before? What happened when you did? Drop a comment below and share your experience. Your story might inspire someone else reading. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.